Welcome to Simplify CS. So we will begin Java Beginner series from today onwards. So what I will do is that I will teach you everything from scratch, okay? Meaning I'll teach from the very basic to all of you. So even if you know nothing in Java, you're just starting Java, this is for you. Don't skip any videos. Just keep watching even if you don't get to understand things which I say, but eventually you will get used to it and you will understand it better in the forthcoming days. So without any delays, let's get started. So today marks the day one of this series. So just do put your attendance every day or in the days which you watch all these videos or just type that I have completed this day one or your show your progress in the comment section. Let's see how far it goes. Okay, so today we'll be seeing what is Java and why we should learn it and its history, the about the JDK, JRE, JVM, what or all that. And we'll be setting up the environment and we'll see how to set up various different environments for Java. And after setting up the environment, we will learn to code our first Java program, which will be very basic and easy for all of you. So, and one other important note is that if even you know basic Java, just take these videos as your summing up or revision so that you can learn more in the forthcoming videos. Okay, continuing with this, we learn what are data types and what variables are and what are operators and how to take the input from the user. We learn how to take an input from the user and some practice exercises. So this is today's agenda. So we'll be learning this part by part. Okay. So, okay, let's move on further. So what is actually Java? So Java is nothing but a programming language, right? So coming to programming language, what is a programming language? So we humans do communicate. So let us say this is person A and this is person B. So we see each other and he says hi and he waves back at hello. So they are communicating. Basically, they understand each other that they are greeting each other, right? So whereas if we say hi to the computer, okay, it will not understand in those days and all in this onset of programming. So we need some task to be performed by the computer. We can't just say just print this onto the screen. You do this, add a 2 plus 2. We cannot say that. So machine only understands zeros and ones. We can code in zeros and ones. So this is nothing but the binary code, right? It understands only binary code, which is also known as the machine code. So in order to speak with the computer or the system, we need to code in this language, but we find it very meaningless to code in all this. So if we want to say hello, so just print this hello onto the screen. I want to give the instruction to the computer to print hello onto the screen. If I use the zeros and ones, it will be very lengthy. It will take up pages to print, to write this command. So for example, I'm saying for this itself, it is very tedious job. So for coding heavy applications, just think of that. It is very inefficient. Yeah. So we'll be seeing the programming paradigms in the other videos, not in this series, but separately I'll put the videos on how the programming language developed. So for now, you just know programming language. So like how we humans communicate with each other, we need a language to communicate with the computer so that it converts it into. So this Java is a high level programming language. So it converts normal English to the machine code. Okay. So if we say hello, print this hello, it will get converted to machine code and it will give output also, the same output. Okay. So, okay, it is a high level one. And It was created by James Gosling in Sun Microsystem. So we'll see how the Sun Microsystem was acquired by Oracle. Okay, so in 1995, even before 1995, this programming language was named as Oak. Okay, and later in 1995 only it got converted to Java. And later on, Sun Microsystem got acquired by Oracle. So now officially Java is owned by Oracle Systems. Okay. So the core philosophy of Java is write once and run everywhere. Means suppose I write some code. This is the code file. Okay. So first dot Java. This is my Java file. Take this as my Java file. Okay. So I write this in my system, which is Windows. Now you use Mac. Okay. You use Mac system. I need to transfer this file to you. Will it run or not? Just think of a second. Yes, obviously Java runs in every platform. So even if I coded this in Windows, using Windows, I can run the same file in Macs. I can run the same file in even in Linux. So it is platform independent. So I don't need to write separate logic or code for each of this platform. The simple file could run anywhere irrespective of the platform. So it is also platform independent. So it is strongly typed, compiled plus interpreted language. So we'll also see what is compiler, what is interpreters. Okay, so why we should learn Java? So Java is basically used in creating the Android apps in the Android Studio, and we also use Kotlin, but widely we have used Java. And for backends, it is almost very widely used in the website creation, in the web development, and for secure software like banking systems uses, and several enterprise systems still use Java. Okay, so moving on to the next. Let's see a brief history. So this project started in 1991 at Sun Microsystems, and this got its name as Oak in 1992, and only in 1995 it was renamed Java, and it was released publicly, which was nearly open sourced, so anybody can use it. And then further on it got the versions like 1.0 and then 5, and only in 2010 Oracle acquired Sun Microsystems, and Oracle owned Java, and then they created Java 8, which became the game changer. It had Lambda streams, and Java 5 had generics and enums, annotations. So annotations we'll be seeing in J2E, Java Enterprise Edition. So it's advanced concept. So after completing all this Java, we'll move on to J2E also. And in 2023, that is the latest long-term supported release of Java. We use it now. Okay, let's move on to the next. What is JDK, JRE, and JVM? So think of it like a box. Okay, so this bigger box is JDK, Java Development Kit. It contains all the necessary libraries and tools that is required to develop a Java program. Okay, so it has got everything like the compiler, the interpreter, and all the developmental tools. So inside JVK, we have JRE and JVM. So JRE is Java Runtime Environment. Basically, while running Java Runtime Environment only it runs. And JVM, it is Java Virtual Machine. So it will only execute the bytecode. So we saw here that in spite of the platform, whether it is Windows or Mac or Linux, it runs anywhere. No, it is because of this JVM only. So JVM executes a bytecode. So JVM will, I will put a separate video on how it does. So for now, just think of this JDK that contains everything. Okay, it is a kit. It is a development kit. Contains everything that you need to develop a Java program. So it will contain the runtime environment. In turn, runtime environment will have this JVM, and we will be having compiler and other developmental tools. All together is in JDK. Okay, this is all together in JDK. So let's learn about these very briefly. We don't need much deeper content into this. If you want, you can just get to learn about this deeper in ChatGPT. If you give ELI5 to any concept and you give the concept name and the context, okay, in Java, it will give you very simplest explanation personalized for you. Okay, so for now, just know this: JDK is needed to write, compile, and to run Java program. So inside JDK only we will be having this IDE, the compiler, and the runtime environment inside which the Java will run. Okay, and then JRE. So JRE is the runtime environment which is needed to run Java. Without this, we cannot run the program. Okay, and then JVM. JVM will convert the bytecode to machine code, which is platform specific. So the thing is that inside this JDK, we'll be having this JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So this virtual machine only convert the platform specific code. So we will be having the same bytecode for all the machine. So if it is Windows, the bytecode will turn into the machine code specifically for the Windows. If it is for the Mac, okay, if it is, I'm sorry, this need not be Mac. Okay, if it is for the Mac, the bytecode will turn into the machine code specific for the Mac machine. And for Linux also the same thing will happen. So JVM is an important tool, or the Java virtual machine only executes this bytecode which is platform specific. Okay, but Java itself is a platform independent, but JVM is platform specific. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Yes. So how the Java code runs. So this is a very basic thing, the approach behind how this actually works. So we write the code in one file. Okay. So let's name the file as hello world.java. And the compiler will compile the code. We'll be using Java C to compile the code. So in the terminal, so you will be writing the code in hello world.java. You store it as hello. So for now, I just use hello world.java as my file name. So I'll be writing the code inside this. And after writing it, I will save it using Control S or something. Okay. The save button. You can use it in Notepad. So where you can write the code, we can write the code in Notepad. Okay. So while we write the code in the Notepad or Word also, we'll be seeing even Notepad++. Okay. So we will save this using .java extension. So we need to open the terminal. I'll show all that. Okay. So we need to open the terminal and we need to type on the command as Java C followed by the file name. Okay, this is the syntax to compile the code. To compile the code, this is the syntax. Okay, so Java C file name will be followed by hello world.java. I'll be compiling it. So after compilation, our normal code becomes a byte code. Okay, so it will turn into hello world class file. Okay, after compilation it will get converted into a class file, and then JVM, the Java virtual machine, will be the one which will convert this bytecode. This bytecode is same for all the platform. Okay, but the conversion here, what happens here is platform specific. Okay, so the JVM, which is the interpreter, will actually convert this bytecode into machine code, this dot class will get converted into the machine code, that is the zeros and ones. So this thing is platform dependent, platform specific. Okay, here the bytecode will get converted to bytecode to machine code. Okay. Yes, and the output will be visible onto the screen. Hello world. Okay, so to run this thing, so first you will compile, and to run there is another syntax you must follow, Java and then file name. And here you will be using .java extension, and here you will not use .java. Okay, so .java is a human readable source file. Okay, this is a source file which contains a source code that we wrote, and .class will be platform neutral bytecode. So that will be same for Windows, Mac and Linux. So JVM on any OS. So that is any OS means it can be Windows, or it can be Mac, or it can be Linux. So it can run the same .class file. So this will be the same. So JVM will convert this into machine code depending on the OS. So that is VORA. So write once, run anywhere. Okay. So this is the principle. This is how it runs. So moving on to the next, please set up the environment. So to run Java code, you cannot simply run the Java code by yourself without any setup. So first you need to download this JDK 21 from oracle.com or using the OpenJDK. So just go to the website. I'll just show, wait. So open any browser, go to Java. Wait a minute. Java download. Okay. So the first website shows up with download Java, and we need to download it for desktops. So I have already downloaded Java, so it will just run this. I'll just pause it. Okay. For now, I'll run it for you. I already have Java installed on my machine, so I'm just running it for you guys. Again, how to run that. Okay. So then I'll be giving the permission to download it. Okay. You can also change the destination folder where you need to download it. So just give install, and it will get installed on your platform. Just wait for it. See, here it shows Oracle. So as I told earlier, Oracle bought this Java from Sun Microsystems, and they are currently owning Java. So this will take some few minutes. So independently, if you have VS Code, I mean Visual Studio Code, you should, for then also you have successfully installed Java, it shows, and then you can close it. So now your machine has Java. Okay, so then what you must do is that you have successfully downloaded our system. Install and set Java home environment variable. So this you have to set up the environment variables as you do for every other exe files. So then you'll have to add this JDK bin to folder path. Okay. So what I'll do is that I will put a separate environment setup video. So these are not the focus for now. So I'll put how to download this in a separate video. Okay. For now, just know this, and then you can verify in the terminal whether the Java has got installed in your system or not. So you can type in this code like Java space hyphen version. So for checking the compiler, Java C space hyphen version. So if it has got installed, it will show it in the output, and you can install VS Code with Java extension pack or IntelliJ. So you simply have to do this. So go to this browser, VS Code download. Okay, download this Visual Studio Code, okay, for your system. minus Windows. So I'll be doing this, or you can download. So in VS Code, you can code in Java, Python. You can use it for various. It's basically an environment, like an IDE development environment, integrated development environment. So specifically for Java, we have IntelliJ IDEA, which is given by JetBrains. You can download it. Okay. So I have already installed it. So you can install it on your own. This is very simple, right? So there you can run this Java. Even if you're using IntelliJ or VS Code, you must complete the above steps. So I will say about these 3 steps in very detail in a separate video. You'll find that video in my channel. I'll also put the video's link in description box. You go, if you don't know how to set up this environment, just don't hesitate to click on that video, see that video, and then come back to this video later. Okay, so let's see the first Java program. Okay, so I will open IntelliJ and I'll show you how this runs actually. So as I have already downloaded my IntelliJ, I can open this. Okay, so look, this is how the IDE looks. I have already started coding. Let me tell you how to use this. So firstly, you have to click on new projects. I'll click on new project. So before, if you're using IntelliJ for the first time, this will not be your Windows. I have already used this Windows for my projects. So it's showing this video. So it will show a window like this to create a first project. So they will be naming your project like I'll put Java tutorial is my project name. So the build system should be IntelliJ, and you have to download the Java JDK, which is Open JDK. You can download it by going to the browser, type Java JDK download. Okay. Yes. So you'll be having the version, download the latest version and download it according to your platform. Okay, here you will be having this link. So download it according to your platform. So for Windows, it is ARM 64 RPM package. Okay. I'm sorry, this is for Linux. Sorry, choose it for Windows and then choose it. Okay, this is for Windows. So you can choose it between Linux or Mac OS or Windows and also the versions. So always download the latest JDK. I have 26 in my system. Okay. Chalo. After downloading this, you will have to set the path. I'll also put that detailing and I have already downloaded. I am selecting this. Okay. And then give create. So my new project is being created. So I'm giving this window to open the same window, not the separate one. Okay. So it has an example code because I have given add sample code in that window previously. It has already got selected. No, so it will, if you run this, give a simple run, you can see. So this is a button to run the code. Okay, it will take some time to build. So you can see the status here. So you will see this out file. So it will get created once your file got built. So all your outputs will be in that file. Okay. So it has print hello and welcome, and I equal to 1 to 5. Okay. And just put this up. Okay, hello and welcome. I equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how to create a new file in this? So select this source and right click on the source, select new and go to Java class. Okay, Java class meaning Java file. So as we told earlier, is object oriented programming. We'll say it as a class. Okay. For now, just know that when we move on to object-oriented programming related concept, we learn what is class, objects, and everything related to that. So I'll just name this as first program, right? So first, give enter, and here it is. So I'll just minimize this window. So it has given public class first, meaning this is a class. Okay, this is a class name. So always remember we'll have the file name and class name as the same. Okay, so we'll give the same name as a class to the file, or else it will give an error. Okay, so if your file name is first, your class name should also be the first. Same thing. Okay, and then you need to have a main function. Public static void main, and inside that you need to give string arguments. So I'll say what these are, just I'll type. So just know this is the main function. So every class needs a main function, every program needs a main function, main, and there can be only one main function. Okay, so I'll just give system dot out dot print ln, and I'll give the very basic programming hello world. Okay, and this is case sensitive. Java is case sensitive. I'll just run this code. Okay, by clicking on this. So here we got hello world onto the screen. And I can also print system dot out dot print ln 1 plus 1 plus 1. So let's see what the output will be. So it has also given the addition value of 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is equal to 3. So what I'll do is I'll set this 1 plus 1 plus 1 in between the double quotes. Now it has become a string. Okay, so just remember this if you don't know earlier, the difference between the value in the double quotes, whereas the value without double quotes. Value without double quotes will be treated as integers and the operators. Okay, value within double quotes will be treated as a string, which is a data type. So we'll see more about data types later. Okay, so this is our first program. So we need a class, and inside the class we need a main program, main function I mean. So we'll say string followed by the square brackets and arguments, and then system.out.println is a function to print something onto the screen. Okay, so it can print the string or the mathematical functions, etc. Okay, so for now to make you understand, okay, this is just enough to understand what is actually happening. Okay, so you go here. Yes, Our first Java program begin with a class and a main function, and inside that we wrote system.output out.println as hello world. So we'll break it line by line. What is public class hello world? The first line. Okay, the first line defines a class. File name must match. Okay, as I told earlier, the same thing. There we have first as our class name, right? This is our class name and this is our file name. In this example, we have hello world. So the file name must be, what will be the file name? It will be the same as the class name, hello world dot java. Here it is first dot java. Okay, here we have the class name as hello world. So hello world dot java is our file name. Okay, and then so this is our class. This defines a class. So we'll see what the class is in the upcoming videos. For now, you just know this. And public static void main. Public static void main. And inside that parenthesis, we'll have string arguments. This is the entry point for any Java file. So the JVM calls this first. So JVM, which converts this bytecode into here, this bytecode into this output. No, that machine code, it will get converted. No, it will first call this main method only. It will look what is there inside this main method. So for now, we just have the simple print statement. So it will print this first. So system.out.println will print the output with a new line. So with ln, without ln also there is there. So I'll show the difference. Okay. Okay. So I'll remove the ln. Let's see the output. Now it is printing in the getting printed in the same line. Do not distinguish hello world and 1 plus 1 plus 1. So it is getting printed in the same line. So by now you would have understood system.out.print will print the things in the same line. So if we add ln into this, the next system.out.println line will get printed in the next line. So after printing this hello world, go to the next line. It means go to the next line. So let's see one more example here. So system.out.println. Okay, so here I have Helen. So after hello world, the line will go to the next line and then it will execute this system.out.print, whereas here we don't have ln. So it will be in the same line. Okay, I'll run and then I explain it to you. So hello world, after hello world, line, a new line. In the new line only the next string is getting printed, but here we don't have ln. Okay, so here we don't have an ln. So the next output is getting printed on the same line. Okay, hi. And after this I have this ln. Let us say we have the same thing. Okay, see, after print ln, we'll be having the next string or the next object getting printed on the next line. So basically the function of this ln is to print the next thing on a next line. Okay, so chalo, this is the first program, and don't forget to end your terminate your statement with a semicolon. So it will, without semicolon, the program will not run. I'll show you. It will give an error. See, it is telling semicolon expected at the line 6. So it will say where it is expecting the semicolon. So if I put that and run, it will run properly. Okay, so we just saw our first program. So the programming structure, the Java programming structure. So in this, we will see how the programming structure looks in the file. So here we have this class name, and inside class we have main function, and inside main function we have the instruction what to do. So function is just a block of code. Okay, this main function is also a block of code which says where the JVM will call this function. So JVM will call this main function. So after calling, it will see what is inside this main function and it will execute this. Okay, this human readable code will be converted into machine code, that is zeros and ones. And then machine will understand, oh, I have to print hello world, and then I have to print this so and so. So, and then it will give us the output. Okay. So the structure is package. So package is a collection of these all these classes. Okay, and we'll have import statements which are optional, but for certain things we need to import these packages. Okay, certain libraries. Okay, and then class declaration. So before this class declaration, if you need to import some kind of things, we'll be doing it before writing the class. And we'll also have package names. So package is nothing but this is a package. Source is a package. So package contains all the related classes. Okay. So I'll show. So let us see an example of a package. So for Amazon kind of thing, this is a package. It will contain details about user, order, so products. So assume these as classes. This is class A, and this is class B, and this is class C. Okay, so all these classes are related to each other. So users will place orders. Orders get placed on products, right? User will buy this product and they will place order. So basically they are all related to each other. Users will get related to both these orders and products vice versa. So this all comes under this Amazon package. So package will contain all the related classes together. Okay, you group them together. You will group the similar classes together. Group the similar or related classes together inside the package. Okay, so we'll be having access identifiers, like the package can be public or private or protected. So we'll come to that later. So just know we'll have a package which is optional one. So it may belong to, so for now understand package com.bootcamp be my package name, and then I'll import this java util.scanner. So later we shall see why we need this scanner. So this is basically another class. Scanner is another class. So I'm importing this to this file. Okay. And then public class my program. This is a class declaration which is mandatory. Okay. This is mandatory. So this is done. This is done. And then class declaration. And then main method, which is the entry point, which is a checkpoint. You see this as the main checkpoint. This is the main checkpoint. So this is where the JVM will look for what to be done. So whatever has to be done, you will write it inside this main function only. So the step number 5 would be the statements. So that system.out.println statements will be consider the statements. Other code, the code block will be considered as a statement. Okay, this is a structure in which we write the Java program. Okay, chalo. So comment. So why do we need comments? First of all, so comments may be needed. Comments, why? So if say user A and user B, user A is the author of some, say for example I am the author, I am user A. So what I need to do is I have printed hello world. Okay, so after this I'm doing so I'm passing this file to this Java folder or file to some user B, which is you. Okay, so they need to use it. This is a user that is using my file, using my transferred file. But as a novice, they don't know anything about this file, what I have done. So I need to convey them like so and so I did so and so thing here. So here it will print the hello world. So here I have not given ln. So it will print this hi in the same line. It will not go to the next line. So it will get printed here itself. Here I have given ln, so it will get printed in the next line. So I can type it here as a comment. So comment is a good code. A good code is self-explanatory as well as well commented. So we should learn from this code selfly on our own self, ourselves, and should also be well commented. So we need to understand from the comment also. So comments are ignored by the compiler. Usually compiler will see to all these things, but not the comment. It will ignore the comment. So basically we can say add two numbers. So I print this line. I am getting. So for now, just know this. I'll add comments like this. So if you need to write a comment in single line, you need to use two slashes. For multi-line comments, you need to use slash star, and inside you need to write the statements and then close it with star and slash. Okay. So this is it. And so you can see an example. Okay. So Java doc comment used for generating documentation at author your name. So it is basically for a well documented Java code. So you will document it. So say for example, I'm printing this hello world and you don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So I will say, hey, I am printing hello world onto the screen. So now when I'm sharing this code with you, you will be able to see, hey, I am printing hello world onto the screen. But it will not get executed. It will not get executed onto the screen. The output is the same. Still it is same. Okay. But the compiler will ignore this because comment. This is for user reference. This is for documenting what we are doing. So for this, it may seem simple. But for heavy enterprise level applications, for backend and all, you will not understand what your colleague or peers has done. So you don't know what, you don't have idea what they have done, what logic they have used. So you need to communicate with each other now. It is not possible always. So you need to understand it by yourself by documented things. So they'll be giving comments like this. This is happening here. Get the input from user. All this thing. So okay, they are printing this thing. I'll understand. Likewise, we'll also understand whatever comment they are giving. Okay, you can give your name also, the author name. Okay. So this is a basic things. So in the next video, I'm breaking it into parts. In the next video, so in part 1, we have seen up to this. I'm sorry. The part 1, we have seen up to the first Java program. And in the part 2, we'll be seeing about data types, variables, operators, how to take user input and some practice exercises. So we'll be having more hands-on. Now, for now, it may have sounded a little bit theoretical, but moving on ahead, we'll not be sounding so. So this is the very basic introduction you can have in Java. So by now, you would have understood a little bit about Java. So we'll be seeing about data types and more in the next video. Till then, signing off. Bye.